Welcome back to Talkville, folks. This is the Smallville Rewatch podcast. This is season 5, episode 1, and we have very special guest here today. We have a very special guest. Tom Welling is in the studio. He's in town. We're doing the live podcast together, which was a blast last night. A little chaotic, but like sold out, crazy, fun.
Everybody was happy.
Everybody, that's the most important thing.
Takeaway.
As long as everyone's happy, I'm happy. If people look like they're not, if there's one person in that auditorium that I feel like there's this one guy just crossing his arms. Yeah. And I was looking at him the whole time, and finally he started to laugh and smile.
The Krypton site guy?
I don't know.
No,
and how about the Italian guy? He was like, he was cool, but he couldn't stop. He couldn't control himself. He was a sweetheart though. So anyway, Ryan's here. Bryce is in the room, but he didn't want to be on camera because he doesn't think there's enough room. Yeah. But who farted?
That smells so bad.
I didn't fart.
That is fucking brutal.
Swear to God, I didn't.
I didn't either.
Swear to God.
Swear to God.
Ryan?
Swear to absolute God. If there's
Bryce?
a God, I swear to God.
Well, somebody farted and it wasn't me. Maybe someone should brush their tongue. All right.
Here
we go. Thank you for being
here.
here.
Have I gotten to that point in my life where I don't know I farted?
I can't believe. Yeah, we're at that age. We're at that age. It's So listen,
I didn't fart.
We've gotten this far, and it's because of you guys, the patrons that have been listening and supporting the show. Patreon.com/Talkville. Without you guys, we wouldn't be here. And this is honestly the reason why we're here, because you keep supporting the show. Tom, wouldn't you say?
I didn't fart.
I know. That's fine. Keep all this in, Jason.
But now I'm starting to smell it. So it came from this way, because now it's reaching.
Well, my dogs are out there and the door's closed.
So have your dogs been taking the
supplement? No, that's a human fart. I know my dogs fart. I know their exact fart. I know which dog farted. So one of you guys is a river in Egypt. Denial. All right. So if you didn't get a chance to call on our hotline, leave a question for the episode. Make sure you do for future ones. Welcome, Ryan.
Hi.
You happy to be here?
I am.
Did you love the live podcast last night?
It was fun.
You look like you had a great time.
I did have a great time.
But you people were enamored by you. You were like, you talked to people afterwards.
Well, you guys pieced out, so
we had to. It was a long day for us.
You took selfies last night.
I did. I took a few.
Yeah.
I took quite a few selfies, yeah.
Well, I took selfies too, but I was like, we got to get out of there. We couldn't sit there for 250 people and just take pictures.
You wouldn't have left.
I wouldn't have left. It would have been taken us 2 more hours, and we were exhausted.
So I ran interference for you.
You don't want your headphones?
Only because you're louder. If I put those on, you're louder.
No. You're fine. Put your headphones on.
It's so nice to have you here.
Let's just get into this episode. This is the season premiere.
I can hear you.
This is, without further ado, let's get into season 5, episode 1. This is called Arrival. Title Arrival aired September 29th, 2005. Director, good friend of ours, James Marshall, who I had my issues with, but also had some love for. Writers Todd Slavkin, Darren Swimmer, love those guys. Guest star Lana de la Garza as Ether, Leonard Roberts as Namek, James Marsders as Brainiac, Milton Fine in the last moment you see him. Terrence Stamp is the voice of Jor-El. James Marsders, you know from Buffy. And as Clark ends one journey, a new one begins, forcing the town of Smallville to not only recover from another devastating meteor shower, but to also defend themselves from evil invaders. I mean, what's your vibe so far on this episode?
So there's a couple things. One is I may be incorrect, but I think we filmed this as the last episode of the previous season, as opposed to filming this the first episode.
Really?
Of the 5th season. I think
I
we
remember
did.
that.
Because it was like one of those like, shuffling the ball around a little bit financially. And we got James Marsters in there, and like, who's one of my favorite actors I've ever worked with.
Great guy.
We moved all these things around. And so going into the second season, which will be the second episode, I think that was actually the first episode we shot that year.
Wait, so do they fly him up for that 1 second thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And he's great. By the way, we should have him on our podcast, and you should have him on your podcast.
He just was on. I just had him on.
Really?
It hasn't aired yet, but he was just on.
Okay, then cut that.
But no, no, don't cut it.
He's a great dude.
But I'm gonna ask him if he'll come on this.
Yeah. I really loved working with him. He was really just like into it.
And he's good. He's good. He's a good actor.
Yeah.
After a much needed recap, we arrive back where we left off, the town of Smallville obliterated and Clark gone AWOL in Whistler. After his Patrick Mahomes-like bomb, the crystal of knowledge falls through the snow and suddenly the Fortress of Solitude rises around it as Elsa enters his new home. Who's Elsa?
This is Bryce, who has young children. Tom knows what Elsa is.
Yes.
What is it? Oh, Mermaid?
Frozen.
Frozen. I don't watch that shit. He receives a message from Jor-El letting him know that his old journey has ended and a new one is about to begin. New intro theme alert. New intro theme.
Well, new titles.
New titles.
New graphics, and everyone gets do you guys remember the filming day for that? Because everyone gets like a little sultry like turn to camera.
Yeah, it was
like you
those
just sort
old
of
days.
stand there, and everyone's hair is flown in the wind except yours.
They don't. Thank you, thank you, Ryan.
I'll be honest. I don't remember doing this episode at all, but when watching it, I realized that I was there. That's why I think it was the end of season 4 because we were just like done,
just glazed over.
Yeah.
Yeah, believe me, by the end, you're just wanting to get through it.
Back in Smallville, Lana sees light emerge from the crash-landed black spaceship. She tries to make a break for it, but is interrupted by 2 strange Kryptonians. They get surrounded by several police cars and choppers who are seemingly unconcerned with the meteor shower, as the Kryptonians proceed with blowing everyone the F up. Lana overhears them talking about finding Kal-El and then gets a little FOMO as she catches one of them with a familiar tramp stamp.
That I gotta tell you, I thought it was very impressive with the explosions. They spent a lot of money on this, and it wasn't just like one explosion or two. They brought in cops and choppers and all this, and I thought it was really big.
This is also before drones, so there was this one shot that they did that really kind of went like
Yeah, I
this.
remember
That's a
that.
helicopter shot. That's not a drone shot. Nowadays they do drones.
Right.
That's so simple. We could do it out here right now. Well, Bryce probably could, but yeah, this was actually helicopter stuff.
Wow, I was impressed. I was impressed with this opening. It needed it for a season opener. Did you like it, Bryce?
Yeah, it was cool.
He's not Mike, so we shouldn't talk to him, right?
It's fine. It'll just be muffled.
It'll be just muffled. You can hear it.
I also think that the intensity of this episode is what really I took away from it. Plot aside,
Yeah.
it was very intense. Jonathan Kent, dude, when Martha's in trouble, that's legit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the intensity of this episode is really what kind of, I don't know, bubbles to the top for me.
Did John say he wanted hair like yours? Because suddenly John has a flowy new haircut.
Really?
I don't know. To me, that it really stood out. It was like, oh, we're in a new year now, and John is deeply ingrained in the 2000s.
Huh.
It's crazy how, man, how just like you look at his age then, we're older than John was then by a lot. By a lot. We're a lot older than him, but he looks manly. And
Like, could you imagine going back and being Jonathan Kent
yeah.
to...
Could you imagine if I'm married to Annette right now, but I'm playing Jonathan Kent? I mean, it just, I don't have enough manliness.
You wouldn't get the role.
I look too kid-like. Next, we see Lois taking the bug to the Kent farm and finding it absolutely demolished by meteor showers. She walks into Jonathan digging through the rubble to find Martha. They're eventually successful, but she's unresponsive as Jonathan emotionally takes her to the hospital, and no sign of Jason Teague. Over in Kawachi Caves, Lex wakes up after getting shoulder checked into the cave walls by Chloe. He looks for Chloe, but is only able to find her unattended BlackBerry and the table holding Clark's ship key. The Kryptonian disciples interrupt Lex and use their powers to retrieve the key from him. In doing so, they nearly choke him to death and reveal that someone named Kal-El is in Smallville with similar powers. So Lex knows it's a key and that they are super beings in Smallville. Now, if that's the case, he's got to think, well, Clark. I mean, how does he not put this together?
You tell me. I mean, I don't like the fact that these guys, like, why do these Kryptonians like Earth? Because the sun? There's other planets you can choose. They don't need the air. They only need the sun to survive. So why are they here? And why are they
They're
so
here for bigger
stagnant
reasons.
in their
Well, we're going to
performance?
find out.
Working through the main cast, we next check in with Chloe, who narrowly beats out Frostbite as she wakes up in the snow on Hoth.
You know what Hoth is?
No.
Empire Strikes Back. They're in Hoth in the snow, you know. Remember with the Tauntauns? Your Tauntaun will freeze before it reaches the first marker. Then it'll see you in hell.
I'm more of a Indiana Jones guy than a
kid.
Star Wars guy.
Look, kid.
Back inside the fortress, Jor-El goes to tell Clark that the fortress will be used for his training to save the world against a dark force from Krypton. Apparently, going 0 for 2 with a small town in Kansas is good enough for Clark to get tasked with saving the world. Tom?
Yeah.
Any memories or stories from this?
Any memories of like being in that Fortress of Solitude for the first time? Were you blown away by the set?
I was like, this is cool. This is great.
A lot of dust, huh?
Well, they ended up getting to that later. And I remember Glenn saying that we're using a filter so it's going to glow. Like, don't worry. What I love about these scenes is I'm talking to, quote unquote, the ether. And that was a different acting exercise, which I really enjoyed. What I thought was really funny about the set is the floor is completely level. And it's a weird thing to think about.
Yeah.
As people walk through it, there's all these things that move.
Ramps
but then people are just like walking through it. It really should have been
like climbing up a little bit and slipping, maybe.
So maybe I don't know if I'm shitting on the show, but like you're just walking through an ice fortress.
Yeah.
Like even my kids
of disbelief.
I took my kids for a hike today, and I was like, put your hands out in case you slip. Like this is your first time here, right?
Chloe follows Clark into the fortress and observes him communicating with Jor-El, but before she can get closer, she gets hit with a flurry that freezes her. Clark turns down his first day of training and chooses to put the fate of the world on pause to save his friend Chloe. In this scene, Chloe reveals to Clark that she knows his powers, to which Clark is surprised, even though she transported with him to the Arctic. That's called sarcasm, Bryce. Yeah.
Chloe, what are you doing here?
After his choke slam, Lex Luthor heads back home and sees Lana bloody, bruised, and in shock. He's able to calm her down enough to learn that she's talking about the same Kryptonians he ran into and that they came from a nearby spaceship. Why is he trying to gaslight Lana here if he saw the whole thing?
Yeah, I didn't get the motivation here at all.
Nobody has an answer. Ryan?
I do not. I'm here for science.
Drama.
Ryan-tist?
Not for
He's
mystery.
a Ryan-tist.
As Chloe recovers at a hospital in the Yukon, Clark learns how long she has had suspicions and the Alicia car catch where they were confirmed.
I will say this.
Yeah.
I'm proud of my performance in this. And that's not easy always to say. I like the way that for some reason I don't remember doing the scene, but in watching it, I saw myself waiting for her line and reacting to her line. And I really liked the way this scene unfolded because it was all about even what she says, which is, you would tell me when you were ready.
Mm-hmm.
And this scene unfolds the exact opposite way, where Clark is waiting for her to tell him what she knows.
Mm-hmm.
I really think this was a good scene. I really do.
Yeah, I do too.
She makes a small jab about how good their friendship is, as if he kept this secret for so long, but eventually comes to a point of understanding on why he did.
I mean, she's a great friend.
Yeah, she's a great friend. We'll leave it at that.
Hold on. Let's time how long Lex does this to Lana.
Oh, the choking. It was like
like
a long
11
time.
minutes.
It was.
Let me see that.
It was a lot.
It's still going.
It's still going. This happens for a long time.
Yeah, maybe she liked it. I think he
Well,
liked
see
it.
in court.
Maybe they liked it. Go ahead, Ryan.
Oh, Jesus. In an interesting twist to all this, Chloe realizes that Clark is not a meteor freak like everyone else in Smellville. Smellville. That's what we walked into at the beginning of this episode, right?
Yeah.
See? I farted that time.
Oh.
See, I admit it.
Oh, I
Mine
can't
don't
wait
smell.
to see if it smells.
No, it doesn't.
No, I can't wait to wait.
It doesn't. I'm telling you now, they never do.
I
Ryan?
can't wait to see if it smells either.
This episode has been brought to you by
Smellville.
AG1. The pre and probiotics help you not smell at all.
That's true. I love AG1. Talkville is brought to you by AG1. We talk about this product all the time because we love it. Change your routine, change your daily routine, and get some AG1. Taking care of your health isn't always easy, guys, but it should be at least simple. And that's why for the last, I don't know how many years, Tom, you and I have been drinking AG1 every day. No exceptions. It's just one scoop mixed in with water every day, once a day. And it makes me feel energized, focused. I can't live without this stuff.
Yeah.
I know you feel the same way.
Well, listen, it's easy to drink because it stirs right in. It goes down real easy, and I feel better. It's a simple decision.
I mean, I don't understand why people just can't wake up and make this part of their routine. I think that's what a lot of people are doing. And, you know, each serving of AG1 helps deliver my daily dose of vitamins, minerals, pre and probiotics, and more. Honestly, probiotics, having that in your drink is huge for your gut support. Look, this is a powerful habit that's also powerfully simple. It's wonderful. They have travel packs. You know, healthy aging shouldn't feel complicated. And the thought of taking all these supplements every day and mixing and matching pills and powders, it's freaking exhausting, Tom. But one daily scoop of AG1 helps cover my nutrient gaps and supports my mental health and physical health without a lot of hassle. It's in just 60 seconds every morning. I know I'm giving my body what it needs and setting up sustainable habits for the long run. I think it's pretty amazing.
If there's one product I had to recommend to elevate your health, it's AG1. And that's why I've partnered with them for so long.
So if you want to take ownership of your health, start with AG1. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase exclusively at drinkag1.com/Talkville. That's drinkag1.com/Talkville. Check it out.
But rather, Clark is an extraterrestrial that looks like a human.
At this point, are you wondering how long until she gets her memory erased?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
It's funny because as we were shooting the show, it didn't occur to me of that. But since we've been doing the podcast, you've put it in my head that anytime anybody actually might find out about Clark, I'm like,
Not for long.
not for long. They're gonna hit their head. They're gonna something.
Clark
That's
speeds
your
away
fault.
when he sees his parents home in the TV report on the meteor shower. Back in Luthor Mansion, Lana gets woken up by the sound of nails on a chalkboard. She walks downstairs to find Lionel Luthor still in a catatonic state, clawing at the floor with those eyes, speaking about the disciples of Zod.
Yeah. So what was that about?
He says they must be stopped, and their home is their only option.
Did I miss
Poison.
something though? Like,
No.
what is it that got Lionel that put him into the state?
That happened in the last episode. Before that,
Okay.
where he gets, it's still not exactly sure why he's.
It's the same thing that happened to that one doctor.
The hand blast guy.
Hand blast guy.
Over at Smallville Medical, Jonathan consoles his wife as she regains consciousness. Lois stops by to check in, but she gets interrupted as the hospital gets attacked by Kryptonian disciples. Don't you think at this point the doctor's like, oh, it's Mr. Ken again. Oh, it's Mrs. Ken again. Oh, it's Lex has got hit in the head. Oh, Lana's here in a coma again. Oh, it's like, wow. You guys have good insurance because you guys are here all the fucking time.
That's a good point. You're always worried about losing the farm, but somehow they have insurance.
Somebody should have made a joke. A doctor says, guys, what do you guys do? Why are you always in the effing hospital?
Nobody else in town,
Yeah.
but just you four.
Well, there's different doctors.
It should be called Kent Medical.
Kent Medical.
Old Jonathan Kent plays dumb to knowing Kal-El and gets chokeslammed as a result, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Lois tries to crack wise, and the same thing happens to her. There's sequence of, I love how, she's so tough with these people, and she's like, it was a little too much for me. It was too hokey. Their sequence of choke slams, choke slams,
a new T-shirt
get stopped.
Up.
New T-shirt.
New T-shirt coming up.
As Lana shows up and tells them that Kal-El is at the Luthor Mansion offering an escort there. Clark supersedes back to the empty home and is met by black trenchcoat Lex Luthor, who somehow knows Martha's location and medical report. They begin talking about what could have happened to Chloe and the bright light Lex saw in the caves. Clark tries to leave, but Lex asks him to tell the truth, to which he immediately lies.
This is a good acting scene. Clark could have just been.
This isn't.
I don't know.
This isn't the moment where we punch each other, right? That's the next episode.
That's the next one.
From there, Clark heads to the hospital to check his parents. Lois stops him to say there's a bigger problem with Lana and Kal-El at Luthor Mansion, so instinctively Clark hightails it over there. Really can feel where the show is trying to head now, at least in this episode.
This is the close-up thing I was telling you about.
Clark and Lex seem
everything's like this.
Slam pajamas.
Yeah, slam
Clark
pajamas.
and Clark and Lex seem to not be friendly at all. Clark isn't annoyed with Lois in this scene, and they actually hug.
Lana's plan to booby trap the Kryptonians works momentarily. After they seal the kryptonite room door, they throw Lana across the room, knocking her out. I don't know what number concussion that is for Lana, but it's got to be up
6.
there. Jesus, 8.
Maybe.
Also, do you guys notice when Lana's being ushered into the Luthor office and she's got the brace, they're both holding her and she's still stumbling?
Mm-hmm.
Do you notice that?
Yeah. I'm wondering why she's still not arrested for her chasing or having the axe fight and trying to kill people in high school. How'd she get out of that one?
Mr. Kent.
Mr. Kent, do you know anything about this axe wielding hoe? Go ahead,
It
Ryan.
was like 24 hours for her. She murdered someone, right, in the last episode.
Yeah.
She got in a helicopter accident.
She's tough. It's a good. It's a
And
good
the
thing
writers
you're
are there
tough,
going,
Lana.
now everything's elevated. Everybody's killed people. Everybody's,
What I see a lot in this episode is everybody trying really hard to keep the intensity, although it's very clear that we're shot out of sequence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Lois in the hospital with those people, you're there for that day or 2 days and you're shooting all the scenes there. Having the actress or the actor have the experience of the prior scene somewhere else and then going into that, she'd have been totally different.
Yeah.
But everybody's trying really hard. That's what I see here.
Yeah.
Intensity.
Hard triers.
Before they can do any more damage, Clark super speeds in and confronts his fellow countrymen. The last
And they're
survivors
like,
of
we saw you coming. Like, can they see super speed, do you think?
Probably, right?
I would think so.
Yeah, because Clark can. Clark can't.
Clark can't.
That's your unique name, Clark Kent.
The last survivors of Krypton, Aether and Namek. I hope I said that right.
The worst two
Aether.
assassins to be sent.
Yeah.
Like, in this episode, like literally in this scene, you're like, they sent these two?
Oh my god.
It's like,
Well, they did a kick-ass
you're right,
job in the beginning. But
the last two survived. You're right. That's it.
yeah.
It's the last two.
I mean, maybe that's it. Yeah.
But Clark really holds on to that crowbar.
The rebar?
Yeah, that thing is
The rebar.
like, rebar.
The last survivors of Krypton request he join them to rule Earth. Clark denies the offer, unwilling to shed blood for the greater good. So they throw out some sort of vortex inside the room in an attempt to trap Clark in the Phantom Zone.
So you realize one thing that makes zero sense.
What?
They throw the thing, the portal opens, Clark is holding onto the rebar, and they turn away from him back to the Luthor vault. What are they doing? Why do they turn away? They're not going anywhere. They're not going to the vault. There's kryptonite in there.
They just turned away.
To a corner.
Oh, God.
That's really fun because like the writers was like, how do we get them to look away for a second?
Yeah, weird.
Clark claws his way out of the vortex and throws both disciples into the vortex before its opening closes.
Before Lana wakes up conveniently after the kerfuffle, we get a cutting-edge animation of their trapped image flying through the stained glass of the Luthor office. So now, if at any point Clark gets queasy about kryptonite, Lana is going to definitely know he's an alien. As Clark helps up Lana, he notices that he is, for the first time, bleeding, and also that his spaceship key is on the floor beside him.
I do remember it being a big deal in the day that it was actually Kristin that I picked up because they were like, hey, do you think you can pick her up? I'm like,
Yes.
And I'm like, yeah, I think I can.
That's the last
And
season.
yeah, and then I remember because Kristin had a stunt double there, and they were like, "Do you want to use stunt?" And Kristin was like, "No, I mean, I think Tom can pick me up." And so that was kind of cool. Like, there's not a lot of cuts there. Like
That's good. But anytime you can make it more believable
Yep.
and see the real actors.
Wasn't the floating rectangle, wasn't that in the original Superman movies? Wasn't that what that was?
I don't know.
Was it not?
I don't know.
You're on your own in this one.
Wow.
But I'm sure the fans are going, yes, Ryan's right. How did they not know this?
I'm pretty sure I'm right.
Jonathan and Martha return home to their one-man construction team who is helping clean the rubble of their home. Clark tells him he has seemingly lost all powers, expecting them to be happy. However, Martha is worried that now he can get hurt, and Jonathan now needs more than a one-man construction team. Back in the hospital, Chloe wakes up expecting Clark by her side, but instead it's Lex Luthor. How did he know she's there? No idea. But now he knows that Clark lied about knowing where Chloe is. And Clark stops back by the hospital to visit Lana. On his way there, he sees Lois and thanks her for watching over his parents. She plays wingman and hooks him up with flowers as he enters a room with Lana, reading about her deceased ex-boyfriend. Clark tries picking up where they left off in the barn before the shower, and Lana begins to pull back. She says she meant every word, but she doesn't believe he did.
This is a cool scene.
Clark reaffirms her with his lips.
I just like. I thought that the way they lensed it and the pace of the scene really worked. Like it wasn't slow, but you felt the moments in between the moments. I thought this was very well done.
No more secrets, no more lies. The episode ends with Clark going to inspect where the spaceship landed, but it's missing. We see it being housed inside of a Luthor corp. As black sludge drips from the ship, it begins to collect and then morph into some sort of human form. Milton Fine, a.k.a. Brainiac.
You know, when he turns, like Terminator thing, he turns.
Yeah, that was cool.
I thought he was going to look, and then we were going to cut to like a headshot of Clark Kent from like Lex's library.
No, that would have been
Weird.
maybe. Thoughts or speculation on where this season is going to head? I have no clue. You got these aliens here. What's going to happen with them? It's like everybody's more in the know now. Now that they're here, it doesn't seem that out of place to think that maybe someone else has powers. I mean, at this point, why is anything sort of ambiguous? Why is anything sort of like impossible or implausible? To me, it's like Tom could be, Clark Kent it's adding up. He's always saving people. So that's my only big issue. It's like, how are they going to get away from that? Yes, Chloe will probably forget what happened. Maybe Lana will hit her head again. I don't know, but
1000%.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
I think the most interesting takeaway from this is Lana now knows that Clark's committed. You know what I mean? And that to me, like, because Chloe goes, I know, and I'm okay with it. Mom and Dad go, I know, and we're okay with it. We'll figure it out. Everybody's like, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Lex is sort of like not even really a part of this. Your process is more important here than anything else. Like,
yes.
You got the ship, but we don't really see you so much. And then Brainiac, who's this guy, whatever, we got the two Kryptonians are stuck in the little metal card game rectangle.
Netherworld.
So they're done. So for me, it's like, what's Lana going to do? Because Lana has really gone through a lot.
I have a feeling we're going to get into Freak of the Weeks again. And then,
but how? Because there's no school anymore. But
there'll be Freaks of the Week.
We see how, which is, interesting.
Surprised that there wasn't some dialogue mentioning Jason being killed off. Nothing.
Who's Jason?
Jason T.
Who? What are you talking about?
Who?
Yeah, what?
Jason what?
What are you saying?
There's a picture of him and his mom being dead, which is awesome.
Like,
in the newspaper.
Did
you see it? Did you catch that? And it's like, you're welcome, or you owe me one, Lex.
So Lex acted like he was behind it?
Yeah. Did I imagine that?
I think so.
No. I'm going to find it right now.
Can Clark actually carry on not lying to Lana? That's not going to happen.
No.
It's going to end badly.
It's not about lying. It's just about telling the truth.
Yeah, they're teaming it up for that.
Interesting things of note. Interesting things of note. This episode won an Emmy Award for Outstanding Sound Editing for a Series.
Nice.
Why?
This marks the first time where Erica Durance gets a mention in the opening credits. Previously, she was given the billing of guest star.
Okay. I did not dream this. You owe me one.
Oh, it's written like it's scrawled in Sharpie.
It says Lex.
And by the way, I don't. And there's an arrow.
That's just.
You would never sign.
That's
L,
not my handwriting.
No,
that's a girl's handwriting.
But that's your Jason T thing.
All
you
right.
owe me one. And
the opening attack with the Kryptonians is reminiscent of the scene in Superman 2 when Zod, Non, and Ursa attack the small town.
To understand
Brief snippets of footage from Superman the movie are used during the Jor-El projected training sequence. There is a mention at the end of Sam Loeb, son of the writer-producer of Smallville, Jeff Loeb. Jeff's son passed away, Sam, on June 17, 2005, at the age of 17. It was tragic. Everyone was really upset about it after his 3-year battle with bone cancer. And for a father, for a parent to lose their kid, I can't imagine. I know my dad did. My sister passed away, but it's just crushing. And Sam's such a great kid, and Jeff is such a great father and great guy, and we love him. And Talkville is brought to you by NHTSA. We all know about the speed of sound, but have you ever thought about the sounds of speeding? If you drive over the speed limit, there are a lot of sounds that you might hear. You can hear the sound of your vehicle crashing, the sound of first responders desperately trying to save you. You could even hear the sound of people crying at a funeral. Because if you drive over the speed limit, you could do damage that's beyond repair. One way or another, speeding catches up with you. Paid for by NHTSA. Talkville is brought to you by Factor. I just got my box, Tom. Factor meals. I just had chicken and vegetables. Last night I had the Mexican bowl, the Tex bowl or whatever. I had the steak, a filet mignon. This is unbelievable because I spend so much money on the delivery services.
Yeah, you don't leave your house. So yeah.
I don't leave my house, and I spend like $40 or $50 a meal sometimes, because $30. And with Factor, it's like these meals are so inexpensive, so delicious, easy to make, and I'm so busy I don't have time for it.
Well, they're also like here. Wait, they're here. Like, oh, I'm hungry. I'm going to go eat.
I'm going to eat now.
Yeah, I'm going to eat right now.
And every time, what's funny is every time I have a meal, I go, I just saved myself $20 or $30.
And
I had a great meal.
2 hours.
Yeah, and I had a great meal. Warmer, sunnier days are calling. Fuel up for them with Factor's no prep, no mess meals. Help meet your wellness goals in time for summer thanks to the menu of chef-crafted meals with options like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and Keto. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are dietitian approved and ready to eat in just 2 minutes. So no matter how busy you are, you'll always have time to enjoy nutritious, great tasting meals.
Mm-hmm. Make today the day you kickstart a new healthy routine. What are you waiting for? With 35 different meals and more than 60 add-ons to choose from every week, you'll always have new flavors to explore.
Make your day delicious. From breakfast to dessert, stay fueled with easy, nutritious options.
Treat yourself to restaurant-quality meals that feature premium ingredients like filet mignon, shrimp, and blackened salmon.
Keep kitchen time to a minimum. Factor meals are ready in 2 minutes. No shopping, prepping, cooking, or cleaning up.
Enjoy effortless support for your lifestyle. Choose from 6 menu preferences to help you manage calories, maximize protein intake, avoid meat, or simply eat well-balanced.
Head to factormeals.com/Talkville50 and use code Talkville50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month.
That's code Talkville50 at factormeals.com/Talkville50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is active.
Time for the hotline.
Hey, it's Tom from Niagara Falls, Canada, with a question for the season 5 premiere, Arrival. I gotta know, Tom, when you're getting sucked into the Phantom Zone, how is that done behind the scenes? Did they have like an industrial fan blowing all that wind? Were you being held up on some wires there?
Yeah, wires and wind. All right, good. Bob. Sorry, sometimes our answers aren't that long because we don't know too much, but we agree with you.
Hey guys, Nuts in New York. So season 5, episode 1, Arrival. It ends with a dedication to Sam Loeb. I wonder if you could tell us a little bit about Sam and who he was.
Thanks, Bob. You know, I didn't really know Sam other than, you know, I met him once and he was just a remarkable kid. And like I said, there's not enough you could say about Jeff and his love for his son. And we just all really supported him and were, you know, I know he took a leave of absence and that's all we could say about that.
Hey guys, this is Trevor Frederick from Boston, Massachusetts. Michael, Tom, Bryce, Ryan, everybody. What were your thoughts on this complete tonal shift in the relationship between Clark and Lex? All right, let me know. Love you guys.
It's getting kind of nasty. It's getting a little bit like, okay, we're our friendship's crumbling and what's going to bring it back? Is there anything that could bring these guys back together again?
It's also like what you're seeing is a pressure on Lex's tolerance. Like,
I think that's what it is. Yeah.
In previous episodes, Lex is like, "Hey, listen, I'm here for you, man. I'm here to listen. Whatever you want to do." And this one, he's like, "Bro, what's going on?
Yep.
I'm losing my patience with this scenario.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but there's something."
At this point,
the tension is rising.
You think that Clark, if he just said, "Listen, I want to have a conversation with you. I'm gonna be straight with you," and just tell him before it gets too like, I am this. I have these abilities.
Way too far gone.
You think?
Uh-huh.
Well, I just think that like a lot of people think, Smallville fans throughout the world feel that the reason Lex turned dark was partly because of Clark's lies. And I agree.
Okay. That being said, but let's also take one step back from a
2 steps forward, I take
from
one step
from
back.
selling a television point of view. You want that tension.
Yeah.
You think in the pilot, you know what I mean? If Clark looked at Lana and was like, "Hey, listen,
The show would be over.
I'm from another planet. I came here. I got these powers. Check them out." And Lex, by the way, do you want to see too? You'd be like, "Oh,
No,
okay."
you're right. You're right.
They still play with the ambiguity of Lex, like they make him seem somewhat nicer instead of full heel.
Because Lex wants it to be okay.
Right, but they also want people to still like Lex.
Yes.
They can make people hate Lex.
Yes. And I would fight that sometimes. I would say they always said, we know you're going to not play it as dark. You know you're going to bring some ambiguity to it. They always said that. And so if I ever had a question, like, I just feel like it's too
on the nose.
Play
like
against it.
Yeah,
Hey,
nobody's honest with
Tom, Michael and Ryan. Scott from Sydney, Australia. Just wondering whether there was any question about Clark actually making it from Antarctica all the way to back to Smallville without crossing any water, given the fact that he couldn't fly. You know, was there any discussion
God,
about
that's
how
a
he
good
would
point.
potentially have done that? He wasn't the Flash. He couldn't walk on water at that time. Anyway, I'll speak to you soon.
That's pretty
Maybe it's a
funny.
pipeline.
No,
You took the pipeline.
No,
or something.
but I think later, maybe it's this season or
That's
the next, we
Alaska.
do have the Flash, and they do run across the water. I think Clark can run across. I mean, I think he can run across water.
Well,
But-
it was the Yukon, like the hospital. I thought it was Switzerland. I was really Yeah. But no,
Well, when they
it's
showed the
definitely
pictures of
it's
the
connected.
chalets.
Yeah.
Maybe
it's all connected by landmass.
He zoomed to a place where he can get a helicopter, got a helicopter, and then from there, he boom, got home.
I think he ran across the water.
If I could
I don't think he had
turn
to.
back time.
That's what I'm saying. Like he came straight down from Canada all the way to Kansas.
I just love it when you say Yukon.
All right,
Yukon.
so
Like you know where
suspension
it
of
is.
disbelief. Here's Charlene.
The Yukon.
The Yukon.
The Yukon.
Hi, my name is Charlene A. Tom, I was wondering how much of the the Fortress of Solitude was actually a set and how much of it was CGI. Thank you.
Oh, I think we've talked about this before. We could do a whole episode about that day of shooting up in the glaciers. I think we've talked about it before. It's amazing. You saving the helicopter, you jumping in the shower with Barry. I think we've touched on this, but this could be a whole episode. But all of it is CGI to answer the question. We were in waist deep glacier, dropped off in helicopters, walking toward what was described to us would be there in the episode. So the answer is all CGI.
Here's Shane.
Hey guys, this is Shane from Florida. Earlier in the podcast, you guys had mentioned that the set used for the Fortress of Solitude was the same set used for the Kawachi Caves in earlier seasons. And you guys mentioned how much you disliked filming in those caves or that set. And so my question is, did that set get better once it became the Fortress of Solitude, or was it still rough and uncomfortable to work in? Thanks so much, guys.
I didn't know, thank God. I never was in the Solitude except once in season 7 at where I left the show, which we'll eventually get to. But Tom has to speak on behalf. But yeah.
So to be completely specific, they were different rooms. They were different stages. The Fortress of Solitude was not where the Kawachi Caves. Did we dislike both? Yes. They both had their different things. The thing about the Kawachi Caves is they were hot and humid, and you were like sweating, and you're not allowed to sweat on camera. It just doesn't work. When we moved over to the Fortress of Solitude, they started blowing all these snow particles around. And when you would blow your nose, it would be black coming out of your nose. And they're like, oh, no, this stuff is safe. And I'm like, yeah, look at this tissue that I just, like,
there's no
you're
way.
blowing white stuff.
Yeah.
And like, but this is black stuff. And I know it's a horrible way to say it. What I liked about the Fortress of Solitude is it was a standing set that never changed. So when you went there, it was established and they knew how to light it and they could work quickly in there. So that was really great. But yeah, I think that's the biggest difference. They were different, but not fun. It's never fun when you go to work and you walk away with like stuff coming out of your nose.
Dude, the air was so polluted, just with dust, and it was a lot, man. We lost years of our lives breathing in that shit.
And then the smoke and having to wait for the smoke.
We can never
both
prove it,
sets,
but,
and
yeah.
Russ. We always talk about
Fucking Russ.
Sorry,
Russ,
dog.
enough with the smoke. Not my fault. Just doing my job,
Yeah.
Michael. I know, Russ.
Hi, this is Brian G. Jarrell's AI says Clark's human learned emotions are his weakness, but we know ultimately caring about everyone will be his greatest strength. Since Sacred, Jarrell's been on an all humans are bad kick, and Clark just takes it without arguing in our defense, even though everyone he knows and loves is human, and humans helped him in his time of need. Why do you think he doesn't stand up for us more? Thanks. Bye.
Why don't you stand up for people, Clark? Fucking jerk.
No, you're right. Like, what is Jarrell really after? Especially if like
We don't know.
Is Jarrell dead? Is this like a voice spirit?
I think Kryptonians don't die. Their spirit lingers on like a Cranberry song. Do you have to let it linger?
Don't we all, man?
I don't know the answer to that. I think that Clark is doing his best to save the people around him, humanity, and he's conflicted, as always, with his biological father telling him his destiny is something else, and that's the whole show, really.
it's also like unclear to me. Like, what does Jarrell really want from Clark? It's not clear to me yet.
It shouldn't be.
Oh, okay.
It shouldn't be yet.
Like, what do you want from this?
Yeah. What do you want, man? What do you want, Jarrell? What the hell, Jarrell?
Hi, my name's Caroline. I'm from Victoria, BC,
Ooh.
Canada. Depeche Mode,
Yeah.
Precious plays at the
Yeah, that was
end.
a
When
great song, by the way.
Brainiac
That was
emerges
great.
out of the ship, I was like obsessed with this part. It was one of my favorite moments of the series. It was understated. It didn't have to be like a huge reveal, and I think that's what the song made it so impactful. And James Marsters so good too. Did you know the music selections before filming?
No.
Was it in the script, or did you listen before the scene to like get the vibe of the song? Because the song made it so good. It was.
Was it director?
No. Nobody knows.
That being said, when I directed an episode,
later in
I got a song in there. I really pushed for a song and I got it. But most of the time, you know, you have a whole music department that knows the songs of today and what fits and all that stuff, and they do a great job.
I would be interested to hear what the music supervisor has to say if we ever had that person on.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys would be, but I would love to.
Like how they navigate that world of timing it.
They have a budget,
yeah,
and they're like, okay, we have a couple $100,000. We're going to put one big song in there at this great moment, and the rest we're going to pay minimum, you know, whatever. I assume that's what they do.
Yeah.
Sophie L, did you know from the start of filming the previous season 4 that the outcome of this whole Stone storyline would be the creation of the Fortress of Solitude, or did you learn about it towards the end?
I learned about it when we got the script for that episode.
Faith, as we start season 5, the credits change. It's clear that these bits were filmed separately in front of a green screen. Do either of you have any memories? I don't. I remember that we're all busy and that they had a photo shoot, and I'm sure Tom was like, oh, dude, I don't want to do it. It had to be at the right time, whatever. Tom's working every scene, and they set it up, and they made it convenient for him, and we had to just kind of follow his lead. This show is sponsored by Betterhelp. Betterhelp is so important to me. It's so important to so many others out there. Ryan, it's something that I believe strongly in. They've been our sponsor for a long time, and therapy truly helps, and you should give it a shot. Look, does social media make it seem like everyone else is living this fabulous, amazing life while yours is not quite that? Comparison is the thief of joy, and it's easy to envy other people's lives. It might look like they have it all together, but in reality, they probably don't. Therapy from BetterHelp can help you focus on what you want instead of what others have, so you can start living your best life. Therapy is helpful for learning positive coping skills, how to set boundaries. It empowers you to be the best version of yourself, and it's not just for those who've experienced major trauma. Therapy from BetterHelp can help every single one of us. If you are thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. You just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. I think that's what's great about it. If you're not vibing with someone, you change it. There's no questions asked.
Stop comparing and start focusing with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/Talkville today and get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Talkville.
Okay, Rosenbaum rating system on this one.
Rosenbaum rating.
Man, I really wanted to like this more than I did.
Yeah, I thought it was, to me, the weakest season premiere.
I thought it was good.
I thought it was good, but it wasn't like as good as the other ones.
It wasn't epic.
It wasn't. Well, you know what? The opening was epic, but the show itself lacked.
It was intense.
It was intense, but it lacked sort of like a grounded. It felt like it was a little all over the place, like too much to compact into one episode. That's how I felt. That being said, I didn't hate it.
It also seemed, from what I heard you say, like I feel like you had more questions after watching it.
Yeah, I did. What do you give it?
1.5.
I'm gonna give it an optimistic 2.
Because when I think about this episode, I really think of the Fortress of Solitude. Like that, to me, if that wasn't in this episode, this is an easy 1 rose. But that 1.5 and the idea, like what is about to happen, gives it the extra half.
I'll give it a 1.5 roses, and that's pushing it. Death count: 10 dead. Police officers killed by disciples. 2 saved. Clark saves Chloe and Lana through 1 episode. 10 dead. 2 saved. Series: 147 dead. 149 saved. Ryan's favorite scene. We're gonna start doing that. Ryan's least favorite scene.
I mean, we'll come across some stinkers because
Ryan's 10 least favorite scenes of every episode.
If we come across another ageless,
you on your own accord, you kind of decide that the least favorite if it's a bad episode.
Yeah.
All right.
Scene 1 is building the fortress.
Don't look, Tom. Tom could see your shit.
No, I'm not. I'm looking.
I literally just I have numbers and I know which number I want.
All right, fine.
All right, number 1 is building the Fortress of Solitude. Number 2 is learning within the Fortress of Solitude, Krypton College, I'll call it.
On flat level,
Yeah.
non-sliding ground.
And number 3 is the Phantom fight.
1.
What's the Phantom fight?
Just the fight with the Kryptonians at the end.
So you didn't even put the first scene in this as a choice.
I mean, the building of the fortress? That was scene 1.
No, the scene 1 where the battle with the helicopters and all that shit.
No, I didn't put that in.
Yeah, that was the best scene. What was it 1 again?
The fortress being built?
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
Was that what you said?
That's what Tom said as well.
All right. Well,
He's just copying me.
I couldn't tell you. I didn't think that was that.
Do you know so how stupid is this? So you have the crystal, right? And you're holding it in your hand and you're like, "Oh, this is a crystal. I wonder what this is for. It's going to build the fortress." And then you watch the episode and as Clark throws it, it turns into the Superman symbol.
Yeah.
And you realize as you're watching it as the actor, you didn't realize that's what it was. It's actually really funny. You know what I mean? Because there's so many crystals in my hand.
Yeah.
Even next episode, I mean,
I'm like that. I'm oblivious. Things are right in front of me, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't fucking know. That's it for the episode, guys. This has been fun. I have Tom here, and he's going to be on the next one. So stick around next week as we live it up and talk about season 5, episode 2, Mortal. Let's take the discussion online. Let us know your thoughts on the episode over on our socials at Talkville Podcast or Talkville Pod. Show the support for the podcast by joining Patreon at patreon.com/Talkville. And if you want more information like merch from the show or our hotline number, you can find all that in the description. And make sure you keep supporting us and following us. And let's keep doing this, kids. Tom, Ryan, awesome. Bryce, good to see you. Remember, folks, my doorbell's ringing. And always hold on to Smallville. Now it's time for our shout outs to our top tier patrons who support this show. And we love you. Patreon.com/Talkville. Thanks for supporting this podcast. Please support us and get your name shouted out and along with other treats as well. Let's do it. Leanne P, Raj C, Santiago M, Thomas, Tom Turner, Shane W, Sophie M, Betsy D, Abby P, Ray H, Karen Apple M, 99 more, Lalani N, Brett G, always hold on to Smallville, Esteban G, Charlie T, Garrett W, Bob K, Tom N, Jason W, Osama A, Glenda W, Lana rhymes with Banana W, Nancy D, Brian G, YVR Grips, Anna M, Amanda R, Teddy 127, Michael P, Ryan R, Jordan M. Jesus.
Randy B. I'm just trying to be funny. Randy B, Craig G, Jor-El, Heather and Greg, I made Talkville say butts, Brian H, Eric K, Kristin B, Darth Achilles, Finky, Early is on time, Mrs. Clark Kent, Who's That, Janet E, Deadvid, General Zod, Theodore, Jam and J, Doug R, Carlos C, Tommy, Z-Boston 68, Ken, you know that Limerick guy, Corey L, Mr. Home Arcade, Jesse C, Claire M, D, Brown, Karen Era M, Jules M, Eldon Supremo, Leslie V, Brian P, McBurts, Ginger Moose. Please remember Janice from North Carolina. Okay. Christoph S, Michelle M, Amanda Lynn. Is that the one that you play? No. Jessica B, Amanda Sebastian Lynn. F, Wolfie in the house. Dak Flando, Matthew and Lincoln B, Breyer, Charlene A, The Coopers, Marion Louise L, C, G, O, Cindy C, and Nikki L.
Shannon, Fo, Fan, and Tina E, Matt, Rick, Jen T. Don't put them there. Just put them behind it.
Type A in the house tonight.
Yeah, I don't want papers everywhere. Tina E, Matt, Rick, Jen T, Randy S, Cassie B, Brad A, Felicia R, Danny Mo, Maribel, J.S., Mary K, Rachel D, Stephen A, Danger, When You're Rich, You Aren't Crazy or Eccentric, Rosenbaum fan, Sammy Sharman, Carrie Ann, the Alexander Castle, Daryl E, Spicy Chicken, Jenny B, 76, Anna B, Monica T, Jeffrey K, Pip Kenobi, Katya C, previously on Smallville, Matt C, Keith B, Major Paradox, Cookie K, Justin Patron, Saint of Smallville, Libertaria, Danny Z from Cleveland, Biagio C, Cal L 38, Felicia B, Lady J, The Salty Ham, Murphy C, David L, Madison H, Mika J, Tori H, JD Turkleton, Kelowna A, Zeb R, Z, Wicked Stepdad, My Pup Select, Shelby Kara, Natalia, Dr. Jace E.A.
Well, that was. I'm glad I didn't have to.
That was
there
tough.
was some big ones in there.
That was tough.
Susie Q, Red Blue Blur 8, DRG, Dr. G. Do I have to say underscore?
No.
Okay. My Paradoxical Me, Dominic D, Brandon C, Ned L, Ridlurk, Jenny Lee.
Ridlurk. You're right.
All right. Per 6, Panna G, Kurgan K. Oh,
Go Hank R.
Yeah.
Go
great.
Hanker.
Good one. And Naaman L.
Or Nominal. We love you guys. Thanks so much for this support. If we messed up your name, we'll try to get it right. But how are we going to know unless you call in? We love you. Be good to yourself. See ya.